What's up, Dave?
All right, we are live. The red light is on. Dave Van Auken to my left. Elle Dawson. Elle, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Dude, I missed you last Tuesday. I missed you last Tuesday. You absolutely killed it, by the way. Like, killed it.
Thank you to the comment section for keeping me going for 2 hours solo. I appreciate y'all.
And, dude, shout out to Dakota Ditcheva, Chris Duncan, Terrence McKinney was, I thought, great. Him and his son was just chilling. And then your girl, Jazz. I thought it was a great show.
Dude, somebody pointed out we had 4 guests from 4 different countries.
4 different countries. How amazing is that?
One show.
Pretty awesome. Guys, an absolute packed show. Let me push this button because I spent 18 minutes on it before the show started. So I'm going to definitely get that out. Guys, we have 102 to recap. UFC Seattle to preview. What's next for Francis Ngannou? And where the hell is Ilia Topuria? We have 3 guests coming on the show. Chris Mixan's coming on in a couple minutes. G's on at 2. And kind of budding superstar from this past weekend, Youssef Zalal, nailed it, is coming around 2:45 on the East Coast. So packed show. And of course, Elle and I have a ton of topical talk-out things to it. I got 2 things off the rip. One, I'm going to bring it up later because it's going to be a long conversation. And maybe if your husband overhears it, he might come in later and chop my head off. But another one, right off the rip. I am wearing a wrestling shirt. It is a professional wrestling shirt. Right after the show, and I might even leave early, and Elle will absolutely kill it like always. I'm picking up my son early from school. We are driving to Orlando, Florida to watch a wrestling event tonight. Kind of just spur of the moment, happened super quick. Elle, I'm telling you, I know soon in your life you will have this. It is the greatest thing ever. If it's Boy Scouts or fishing with your kid or doing Barbies with your daughter or we're in T-ball with my girls, I'm doing baseball with Colin, we're going to wrestling tonight. There is nothing better on this planet than doing something amazing that your kid loves. It's the best. The best out.
I love it. Super pumped for you guys. Y'all are going to have a blast.
We're pretty excited. We are. So, Elle switching up the hair. Whoa, Sean Sterling. Dude, I saw that on Sunday, especially with you and G, with her hair was so red and the background was white and your hair was so blonde. It was something. It was for sure.
It's back to blonde. It's a little weird. I feel like I'm a whole new person.
I love it. I love it. Well, very cool. Well, dude, our guest is already in there. That's I never like to waste his or her time. But our first guest is coming on the show. We've been on the show multiple times before. Talked to him a long time here in the Fight Banana City. It's funny. There's only one fighter that I've been in the ring with. That you get those iPhone, those selfie wins, and you get it with your teammates. I've done it with one person. That one person is coming on the show right now. We did it in the middle of the COVID era in Biloxi, Mississippi. Trying to push too many buttons at once, but it's not working. I'm going to get it right here. The one and only Chris Mixan coming on the show.
What's up?
Hello.
What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Doing well.
Doing good. Chris, you remember that picture in Biloxi?
Yes.
Inside the octagon there?
Fight. Yeah, my second fight.
Second fight.
Yep. Little liver shot. Then
I got it blown. Say it again. I'm glitching on you.
Yeah. So it was a little liver shot, head kick, and then second round knockout. You had a blazer on, I think, if I remember correctly. It was tight.
He actually does remember. Sometimes Dave tells these stories and it's like, "Hey, you remember that?" And the fighter's like, "Oh, yeah." No, I think Chris actually remembers taking this picture with you.
Yeah, no, there's no way I can't. Dave's an OG, man. We go back to my amateur days, man. We go way back.
Yeah. That is true. Daytona Beach, Florida.
Yep.
Chris had a fight. So there's we have a big arena here in town in Daytona Beach called the City Center. So Chris fought, and it wasn't in the big arena. It was the ballroom inside the arena. But that was the amateur days. That was old school.
Oh,
Love it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Kind of miss him a little bit.
Talking
making money is nice.
From fighting into Daytona Beach, now fighting multiple wins in the PFL. Just had a big, ginormous win for LFA 200. Chris, man, how's life going? How's your MMA journey in 2025?
Got off to a good start. Yeah. No, it was kind of, I don't want to say a make or break moment because, but it did kind of feel like that. coming off of a loss and then a really long layoff and an injury and all these things. I just moved out to Colorado. Things are looking kind of rough. Stuff's expensive out here. And then, you know, I had the opportunity to fight a guy really, really definitely like my most credentialed and my toughest opponent. And to be able to rise to the occasion like that was huge. So, yeah, life's been good. Got off to a good start.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, congratulations on a big win. I saw that you had fought previously for PFL's Challenger Series,
Yep.
and then you can disclose or not disclose like why you decided to go a different route, and now you're in LFA.
Yeah.
Is the plan to return to the PFL with them opening up more weight classes for tournaments? Is the plan to go a different route? What does the future look like for you?
I don't want to write any checks right now, but yeah. So the PFL thing. Pretty much because I was with them on a developmental contract, and I know they did that for a lot of guys, and it was just more of a situation of they just didn't re-sign me when the Bellator acquisition. I was 2-0 with them and stuff, but yeah, so you know, but there was no conversation or I don't want to say like there was no talk of like the future. They just kind of like, hey, we're just not going to re-sign you, and I was like, okay, I'll go my separate ways. And the LFA thing, that was just a one fight thing. I'm not like under contract with them or anything, but that being said, I did have an awesome time on LFA. I thought everyone was really, really cool. They put on a really good show, and it was cool to, you know, debut for them on a historic card for them, 3 title fights and their 200th show. And also, you know, I feel like I kind of spoiled the party a little bit because I watched the broadcast of my fight after and everything, and everyone was telling me that it was just like, my opponent, he was a hometown guy and just came off Contender Series in a really close fight. And they were talking about like, it was pretty much like his show. And everyone's like, this guy's UFC next. And I kind of spoiled the party a little bit. So that felt really good. But yeah, but there was no ill will from them. Like they were super cool after. And yeah, no, it was a blessing. So yeah, whatever comes next, whether that be LFA or if I get a call from a bigger organization, that would be cool. But I think, you know, I'm 1-1 on my last 2, so I think I gotta string some together before I could think about anything like that. So, yeah, but it definitely doesn't hurt to have a big win like that.
For sure. And I got so many things to go with. I want to stick back to the fight for a second. Of course, your brother, the Professor John Radford, texted me that video, that snippet, the LFA highlight right away. And he's like, dude, you see Mixan? He's like, that short. It was just beautiful striking. Like it's wild all the years and all so many different gyms you've been at and so many different striking genres you have done. It's amazing when something like that clicks, right? Or you've probably done that punch 800 times, and that time to defeat maybe, you know, their guy in a way in a UFC. I mean, LFA 200. Like you were the fighter of the night, the highlight of the night. Everything after that was a lot of Chris Mixan. How great is it to like something that simple, but to use it and then get the biggest payoff for it?
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, yeah, I mean, it was honestly I just intercepted him with a jab. It wasn't like any crazy punch or nothing like that. But, you know, I think it's just kind of a testament because, you know, me and John been together for years and we've just been separated this past year from me moving out to Colorado to work on some other things. And it's kind of like a blend of it's like things coming together pretty much. It's like I'm working on more specific things and also more general things, like more specific aspects of my striking that me and John just weren't seeing or maybe just hadn't thought of. And then a lot of grappling and counter wrestling and stuff has been a huge thing out here. And also it never hurts to have like a really, really good room to spar in. So yeah, no, I feel like it's just kind of like a culmination, you know, more so than anything else. Yeah, but it felt great to be able to just, you know, intercept like that. That was really cool.
And you're talking about the room out there. Obviously, if you're out at elevation, you've got bodies like Justin Gaethje, Drew Dober. Are these the guys you were preparing with for this fight?
Not for this one. Like they're in the room, and because it was kind of a weird situation where I kind of did 2 camps in a row, but because I got injured right before, because I was supposed to fight in October and I got hurt, and then pretty much just rebounded and hopped right back into camp, and no one was really, because Gaethje didn't have the fight yet or anything, and then by the time Gaethje got the Hooker fight, and was back in the gym, I was like 2 weeks out, like 3 weeks out. So I didn't want to, readjust like that. But no, we have a really group of guys who are more on like the regional level. A couple of guys who have been on like Contender and stuff that were my primary guys, like my guy Ben Bennett, who actually fought Joey Hart before I fought him. And then
I know him. I know Ben. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a character. But
yeah. He's a character.
Yeah, and then we got Ryan Lineker, who's he's a tall striker. He was a huge help this camp. And
Big ginger guy?
Big ginger, yeah.
I'm from Missouri. I know Ryan too.
He's a great
Small world.
Ryan.
Love Ryan. He's a great dude.
He was probably like my main guy for that camp. It was because he's tall, Muay Thai.
Great striker.
Slick striker, yeah. Just kind of on a run of bad luck right now, trying to get him going again. And then I got a guy, Jarrell Askew. He was really helpful also. And then of course my coach, Carrington Banks. That was, it really, it's not the big names that maybe you guys wanted, but that's really like the guys who were pushing me. But
no, that's awesome. Love hearing those guys get some credit,
Yeah, especially guys who are in the know and know Ryan Lineker, know Ben Bennett, and all those guys. Like, it's cool.
Yeah, we're anti big names here, Chris. we got the real.
We are exactly.
I was wrestling every day. I was no.
But Chris, can you tell me a detailed, second by second about Justin Gaethje's pinpoint plan of how he's going to beat Dan Hooker? Do you have that? Can you send me that, paper by paper?
I think it's mostly just me ducking him from sparring rounds because I don't want to get my leg kicked off my body.
Jeez, I was going to say, like, how excited, and I know you're in the room with them and all that, but just as a mixed martial arts fan or a fan of violence, like how crazy is Justin Gaethje versus Dan Hooker for a possibility of 25 minutes?
It's a match made in heaven or hell, one of the two, but it's definitely some divine intervention making that fight happen. So yeah, I'm very excited for that. I love both those fighters. Like, obviously I work around Gaethje a lot. I've worked with Gaethje sometimes. So, I'm definitely biased in that regard, but Dan's the man too. And that Hooker versus Poirier fight is one of my all-time favorites. So and part of me is like, as a fan, I just want to see it happen.
I think the fans win that fight. It doesn't matter who wins. The fans win.
Yeah, there's no way that anyone's going to be super tentative.
It's going to be fabulous.
Yeah,
for sure. Chris, we mentioned 2025 started off the year. You can't start better than that. Big, not an upset win, but like you said, their boy, he was the betting favorite in that fight. Gets the highlight of the night, knockout of the night. I would hopefully assume, body's healthy, feeling good after that fight. Do you have anything lined up? What's kind of your masterful game plan of 2025 fight career-wise? Do you have something in mind that you want next? Is it just about getting your mind right, getting your body right? What's kind of next for you in these next 3-4 crucial months?
No, that's the best thing about getting a first-round knockout is I'm healthy. So, and I've been working with my agent, KO Reps, and we've been just trying to get something going. Been turned down, I think 4 guys have turned me down so far. So we're trying to get something going either end of March or maybe end of April. Because I'm actually going to be in your neck of the woods in the beginning of April for a combat night. I'm gonna be cornering, so maybe slide through or something like that. So I have a little blackout in the beginning of April, but I definitely want to get another one in before this half of the year is done. Because that's one of the things that's kind of plagued me in my career is fighting once a year, fighting twice a year. I got a really great start in January. I don't want to squander it. I'm healthy. Let me get these fights. I want to get 3-4 in. And see what happens. Maybe a couple good, maybe even just one more good win, and maybe I get a call in Contender for late summer or something. That'd be cool. Or like you said, maybe PFL comes a knocking again, and they're like, "Hey, we messed up."
I feel like you kind of missed the. Unfortunately, we're coming off that loss. It looks like when they were building the roster for Tough. But you brought up Contender Series. I always am interested to hear with young prospects. Would you rather do something like Tough, which obviously is a little bit more difficult? You have to make weight multiple times. You have to live in the house, but you get a lot more attention. Or would you rather go like the Contender Series route? It's not as many people watching on a Tuesday night, but much easier path to the UFC for a number of fights.
Yeah, no, I think with me, it's without a question, I'd prefer Contender. I'm not a huge TV guy, so I think I watched the first season of Tough 10 years after it happened, and just kind of be like, oh, what's up with this? And Forrest Griffin and all them. But no, because I've had experience, like you said, on Challenger Series, and it's a similar situation. And then I didn't corner, but I was in the back for Ben's fight on the Contender Series. So I kind of have like, it's more of like a known quantity for me. And also I just like I like the premise of it. And it also looks like they're really just taking anybody who gets finishes on Contender right now. So
it's changed a lot. My husband was on season 1, and it was not like that then. But now, now you get a knockout.
They took some guys on the show that I was there for that Ben fought on. They were taking guys where I was like, really, like already, like I go tell them to get a couple more, and then they do Torres Finney bad like that, and I was like, yo.
Yeah, that's wild. That is true.
Yeah. So hopefully, I mean, in the ideal world, Contender at the end of summer or early fall, when they do that, that would be, I think, the perfect situation for me.
Yeah, but I like that.
One step at a time. Just get another one in and see what comes.
My man, if you're ever back in this neck of the woods, Chris, I still think to this date, Fight Bananas history, the longest live podcast interview is Chris Mixan. Me, John, and Chris Mixan. I think we went over 2.5, 3 hours. We talked about Ireland. I think Die Hard came up. I think we talked a little bit about everything. What are the long-term podcasts to this date? It was Joe Rogan was proud of us. Let's just say that.
It was just bros, man. It was just bros hanging out. That's all it was.
Yeah.
Just happened to be
it was good time.
Yeah. I'm gonna be
my man, dude.
I'm gonna be over there in April, so maybe we'll
okay. Yeah, dude. When you come through, hit me up. You know that.
Word.
I love it. Elle, anything else for Chris?
Oh, dude, yeah. I gotta ask you one more thing. I was going through your record. I saw that you did a bare knuckle MMA fight. How was that? And is that something you're ever going to be interested in trying to get into?
No, it was terrible. Ever again. 0-1 bare knuckle, and I'm retired. It was the worst decision I ever made.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I don't think you could pay me enough. I'm with you on that.
No, that was the thing. I needed money, and it was there, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll fight at 85 bare knuckle.
Gosh, 85 too.
Yeah, and I was walking around at like 180 at the time. It was so stupid. Like I don't know what the heck I was thinking. I thought I was invincible back then. But it was a wake up call.
It was the day of weigh-ins, and Chris was at IHOP just eating a Grand Slam, breakfast. I was like,
everyone's looking sucked down. I'm like, damn, like these people actually cut weight for this? No, yeah, that was a huge, that was awful. That was a blunder, I would say. But it was a little wake up call. Be like, hey man, you're not invincible yet, so get back.
Not yet.
Yeah, especially when it's bare knuckle. But nevertheless, that ship had sailed. 0-1 bare knuckle, retired.
Well, there we go. We still got rising prospect, but a retired bare knuckle fighter. Man, Chris, we absolutely we appreciate you. We've been talking to you for a long, long time, man. Anytime that a platform, we'd love to push anything you got going on. Anything else you want to promote or push or anything like that? If not, hopefully I'll see you face to face in April, brother.
Word, no, nothing. Just keep an eye out. Cossack MMA on Instagram. Look out for my next fight because I knock people out.
Sounds good. Sounds good. There you go. The one and only Chris Mixan. Appreciate it, Chris. Talk to you, brother.
Appreciate it. Yes,
nice
sir.
To meet you, man. Say hi to Ryan.
What a stud. What a stud.
That's so funny. I know. So Ryan Leninger is a guy.
Small world, now.
I love Ryan. He's great.
Small world.
Great dude. That's too funny.
Man, good stuff right there. Chris Mixan. All right, dude. I'm doing some time stamps is good. All right. So, Elle, to me, we have a ton to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
So, I don't know if
I saw the list.
First crack at it. We got a list.
You're
I'm
glitching on me. You're glitchy today.
I think I might jump out real quick and try to jump right back in and then just it's like Saturday Night Live, like talk amongst yourself right now, Elle. Whatever you got to do, just make it work and I'll try to.
Absolutely.
I'll be right back.
All right. Well, Dave is gone, guys. We gotta talk about PFL. PFL has released the women's flyweight tournament, and I don't think we're all super surprised, but no Dakota Ditcheva. I think PFL was planning to go this route. I think there's not much in the tournament for Dakota right now, but I definitely want to hear y'all's thoughts on that as well. I know we love some Dakota, and I love you. I know that you guys love some Dakota Ditcheva as well. So give me your thoughts on that, Dave. You're glitching badly. Dave was glitching badly. John popping up in the comments, giving his guy Chris some love. So So proud. Dana White, get Chris Mixan in there. Yeah, huge knockout win. I think the kid's absolutely made for Contender Series. He seems like he's in the exact right spot for that. I think 5-1, 6-1 record. Knockouts. He's young, I think 26 years old. So I feel like Chris is absolutely built for Contender Series at this point. So hopefully we'll see him this fall. Sounds like that's the right path for him. You know, he's had that experience with Challenger Series. Seems like he's fought on some bigger shows already. So definitely looking forward to see what he does next. So they did release the tournament for women's flyweight. We do see Liz Carmouche is back in there. I do feel like if they were going to do Liz and Dakota, they probably needed to do it earlier. Now that Liz has lost to Tyla, I think Tyla probably beats her if they get matched up again, which I could see, both of them, a possibility of both of them being in the final. Absolutely. You have Watanabe is back in the tournament. Great wrestler. You see Juliana Velasquez back in the tournament, Jenna Bishop. So a lot of familiar faces from last season for sure. And then a few new as well. So it should be interesting. I don't know what they plan to do for Dakota. Obviously this is a possibility. Dakota fights the winner of the tournament, but I think there's a very good chance that the winner of the tournament is Tyla Santos. And it's just not as exciting of a fight because, we know what that happens. It wasn't a close fight the first time around. I think Dakota does the exact same thing to her again. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we get a new winner and a fresh fight for Dakota. But this is definitely free Dakota. This is definitely my school of thought on this. The PFL needs to release Dakota Ditcheva. There is nothing left for her there. And that very well may be true. So hopefully we will get to see her, take on some high-level talent as well in the UFC later on in her career. We will see what is next for her. But I actually am very excited for the welterweight tournament. I think there's a lot of great names coming into the mix, like Jason Jackson and Logan Storley as well from Bellator. So it looks like Dave has popped back up. Let's see if he's still glitching away. I don't know. That looks pretty. No, I'm just kidding. Can you talk to me? Let's see if we can hear you, Dave.
Look at these moves. Feels good. I think I'm live. I think I'm good.
I think you're good now. I think you're good. All right. Thank God you're back because I was not ready to talk by myself.
No, I was vibing it actually. All right. So I kind of heard you a little bit on the PFL flyweight Dakota Ditcheva thing. I got something on it. And like I said, this is me from left field. I don't know inside information. Maybe Elle does, and that's fine. But this is my take. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Everything that I heard is that if you do the tournament and you win the tournament, your contract already clicks in for the next year.
Yeah, okay, that's correct. You. So she is tied up for this year.
So if you're Dakota Ditcheva or if you're a Kayla Harrison and you might want to move on or do something different, you need to stop doing the tournament. That's why I remember Kayla Harrison 3 years ago stopped doing the tournament, was maybe honestly, and I still think this, was trying to get the big Cyborg fight over there. It never came to be. But I think Dakota's team, she has a great team around her, great family, great management. They're like, hey, you are not doing this tournament. It kind of will free you up in the future. I think they honestly still have good terms with the PFL and still wants to do fights in the PFL. But with her not being in the tournament, it kind of frees her up to, hey, if it doesn't go good, like the Kayla thing, I can move on to whatever elephant in the room, the UFC in the future, right? So I think that's what she's doing. She's like, I'm not doing this tournament.
Maybe
we're freeing it up in the future. Yeah, a Santos fight was awesome.
I don't know what's going on her team side, but I do know that is true. If you win the tournament, your contract automatically renews. But Sean made a really great point here too. I think them doing a big card later in the year, maybe another Saudi card with Francis headlining, makes absolute sense to put Dakota on a card like that. And maybe we'll see the UFC release somebody like a bigger name. Maybe Rose Namajunas leaves the UFC this year. I think that would be a fantastic opportunity for Dakota Ditcheva. We don't know what's going to happen in the coming months. So that's a great point, Sean. While there may not be anybody outside the UFC right now that excites us, that name absolutely could pop up sometime in the next 6-7 months.
That's a great call. Great call for sure. All right. Not trying to just turn the subject. We feel good on the PFL and the flyweights. You're good on that, El?
Yeah. Let's
because
carry on.
UFC Vegas 102. I love the card. I think, and I know we're still in this new year, and I know we're in February. To me, I still am excited. Like, I know it's going to fall off in July after 14 straight Saturdays. I'll be like, it's okay. Give us a break. I'm still like giddy when a card is up on a Saturday night. I still have that Christmas feeling. I thought UFC Vegas 102, I loved it. I loved the show. Yeah. I thought there were some really key wins, some key losses. I thought it was a great night, and maybe the winner of the whole night, and we're going to talk to him in around an hour and 10 minutes, Youssef Zalal. What a big win to defeat Calvin Kattar and to keep winning, to get his name on the mic. He has such a good smile, get his face out there. He's doing all the shows. He's on Ariel's show today. He's on our show today. Like, he's out there. I think that was, out of everyone who won, and I know we'll get into Jared Cannonier in a second, I think Youssef was the biggest winner of the night.
I absolutely agree. I think this does the most for his career. He was unranked. He was cut from the UFC I think he was on a 3-fight losing streak when he got cut from the UFC in 2022, stayed incredibly busy for almost 2 years and didn't lose again. Got back into the UFC. I think he's now on a 7-fight win streak since his last loss, which was to Sean Woodson in 2022. So has really been on quite a tear. And like, to come back to the UFC right off the bat with 3 finishes in a row, and then to get a guy ranked number 10. Like, he didn't even fight, the 15, number 15, number 13 first. Like, went straight to 10. A veteran like Calvin Kattar, a guy who's been in there with Max Holloway, just some of the best names in the sport, and to, go out there and do what he did. I thought he looked fantastic for the first 2 rounds. What
do you think about the third round?
I'm interested, and I definitely want to get his insight on that. I don't know if it was more of a, hey, I know I'm up 2 and I'm fighting smart, which I'm not. I don't think that's a bad idea. I understand a lot of fans may not find that style exciting, but if you're up 2, I do get it. And so maybe it was that, but he's been saying he wants to have his first main event in 2025. So I definitely want to hear his thoughts on what a 25-minute fight looks for him, and that pacing and what he thinks.
All right. I couldn't disagree more. And I can't wait to talk to him. Us, I think we're as the friendliest crew out there without an open scorecard, El. And I think it was super obvious he was up 2. I agree. I had him up 2, but we've seen some crazy scorecards up and down, left and right, in Vegas, out of Vegas. I would never want to give the opportunity of having one scorecard go the wrong way or split I just think.
Is it the right strategy?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. You were doing great. Like, what he was doing, just, I know it sounds crazy. Just implement that again. Just do that again. Even if you don't want to be crazy aggressive and try to go for the finish. You know me, I love finishers. I just think there's a caveat on it. Now, I think UFC likes it. I think fans love it. Females or males, if you can finish fights in the UFC, Alex Pereira, Gillian Robertson, I think we give you bonus points. I think we appreciate that. So I'm not saying he needs to go for the finish. I just thought it was such a weird,
ending to the fight.
Yeah. Like, I'm up 2, but now I'm just going to literally, and it's here in the comments, run. Like, he ran and he lost a round. All 3 judges gave the scorecards to Calvin in round 3. It's like,
yeah. Kattar definitely won the third.
Yeah.
I'm not arguing that at all.
But Youssef was so impressive in 1 and 2. Why change?
Yeah. And I don't disagree with that. I think there's 2 schools of thought with it. I understand the side of it where it's like, hey, I'm up 2. But I have to disagree with Chris here. This is why you oppose open scoring. This is why I think we need open scoring, because people treat fights like they're up 2, even when they are close fights. So imagine if you think about how many banger third rounds we would have if everybody knew it was 1 and 1.
Oh, insane.
That's why we need open scoring. Like, yes, you might still have people who know they're up 2 rounds, but You get that now.
Yeah.
Even without open scoring.
Yeah.
So, and people do that even when the fights are closer and it actually is 1-1, so.
I never understood any disagreement with open scoring. I don't get the concept. In every sport,
there's no negative to open scoring.
Football, basketball, baseball, soccer, tennis, we know the score. The coaches know the score. The players know the score. Why don't we know the score? It will change, and we will look back on this and be like, we were moronic as a sport, not knowing what was up and down. And sometimes a guy is up 2-0, and it is what it is, and it's a blowout. We just saw the Super Bowl. It wasn't a close game. It happens. But to 10 times it, we will have a championship fight one time when we will have open scoring in 2026 or whenever it happens. There will be a big fight. It will be Ilia versus Islam, and it will be 2-2. And we will go into round 5 on open scoring, and it will be the most craziest 5th round ever, because we all know whoever wins this round will win the championship, and it will outdo anything that we will ever have open scoring. Just that one moment. And then more moments like that will happen in the future on prelims and other fights. But we will see John Jones and Aspinall fight, and it's tied 2-2. And it will go to round 5 in Madison Square Garden, and has a big 2 for Bones and a big 2 for Aspinall. And whoever wins this round will be the undisputed heavyweight champion. It will just outdo anything. Anything.
And it protects the fighters too. Like, we've had some weird ass scorecards in the past, and the number one reason why it's so easy to put out a weird scorecard is because your name doesn't go up on the big screen after each round with how you scored that round. And if it did, I guarantee you judges would take their job a lot more seriously. There are no negatives to open scoring. 100%.
And I've said this 10 times now, and I don't know if we probably have talked about it, you and I. Even if the judges think they did a good job, if they count, just say someone counted round 2 for Calvin Kattar there, and Youssef would be like, oh, wow. So I thought what I was doing was winning. One judge or 2 judges doesn't think so. I got to change. I got to do something different. They're not giving me this. I think Andre and Rodolfo had a really close fight. Good fight. Petrosky won that fight. Like, a lot of people had different scorecards all over the place. Like, was grappling more important? I thought Andre was doing a better striking than Rodolfo, but Rodolfo was doing really good of kind of mixing it up and doing grappling and some striking. I'm a striker, or I want to see damage more than anything. So I gave it to Andre 2-3, and that's where I scored it. But other judges don't, and does. So it's insane to me that we don't know scorecards. It really is.
There are no negatives. That's just wrong.
Yeah.
There are no negatives.
Okay.
But it's a change that I think will come. We are starting to see rule changes that needed to happen years ago, and there's been no negatives. And I think the changing of the gloves, which took ages, I think that's a perfect example of how it doesn't, if we change it and we don't like it, we can just go back. And I'd like to point out that the fight nights with the that's dead. You're wrong, Chris. I'm sorry. You're wrong.
These are the highest level athletes. Like, I even think when so much to that comment, Ellen, I'm sorry to interrupt you, and I apologize. I totally ran over you right there. If you're up 2-0, I think some fighters don't know how to fight running backwards. Some guys they move forward. They know what to do. They're almost like a machine. They don't know anything else. I would say this about Grant. Grant doesn't know anything else. Like, I want to go and stop and win the fight, like, in a good way. Like, and also, if you stop your opponent, you have chance for bonuses. If you stop your opponents, you go up higher. And it just, no fighter wants to run in the 3rd round. It's not in us. It's not in fighters.
I think it depends on the fighter. Yes, there are fighters who do make adjustments very well in fight. There are fighters that don't make adjustments very well in fight. It's a skill. Some fighters have it, some don't. Some fighters are great kickboxers, some aren't. That's just part of the sport.
Right.
But for the vast majority of athletes, knowing you are up or down will help you perform better. 100%. The vast majority of fighters will be able to do better if they know what the judges are looking for and whether or not what they're doing is working.
I agree. And hey, we can go back to this if we want. But hey, we're talking about UFC Vegas 102 this past weekend. And we got to talk about the guy who won the main event, who is the betting underdog. And I say this all the time. Maybe because it's me and I'm older in my life. I love veterans. Dude, Jared Cannonier is coming from, his losses was Nasruddin and who was it? Izzy? Was his last two there were Kaio. Two of the top five ascendant middleweights. Like, I thought we were totally, for Cannonier to be the betting underdog was crazy.
And to be such a big dog too, like minus 225 for Rodriguez was a little disrespectful. And I get it. I'm high on Rodriguez too. He's massive. Like, if you had watched that fight and told me one of those guys used to be a heavyweight and it wasn't Rodriguez, I tell you, you're insane. I went real quick. I will pull this up. Sean, I feel like you really, really want to talk to Youssef Zalal. So just stay on, but at 2:45, if you ask him a question, I will pull it up on the screen for you. Deal?
Woo, there we go. Sean Sterling.
You can duke it out because Sean's wants to know. He wants to know what Youssef was doing. All right. So, Caio Borralho, Izzy, Nasruddin.
Great losses. He's never lost to a guy outside of that. Yeah. Like, I don't know what people were seeing. And let's just be honest. I've said this multiple times. I think there's a UFC debut kind of nervousness or jump. And then to me, there's a pay-per-view or a big moment type of jump. And then, guys, I don't care how old you are or how great of a fighter you are. The first time you main event and you're on the fight poster and you're signing it and you're doing more things, I just think there's something to it. Jared Cannonier said it multiple times. That was my 7th main event. He's main evented UFC pay-per-views. Like, that was just a night at the office for Jared Cannonier. For RoboCop, that was the biggest fight of his life. Like, you want to fight free and the less pressure possible and the less mind going around possible. And I just think it's something to it. I really do. I will die on that hill. And maybe some people do great in the first main event. I'm not saying there's not, but it is something. I think it's something.
No, I agree. And I think that's an incredibly tough first main event. And he didn't even do terribly. He had some really great moments, especially early in the fight. There were some opportunities for him to get Cannonier out of there. And so it's I am shocked at the odds. I'm quite shocked at the odds. And I'm happy for Cannonier. I mean, 40 years old. The dude has knockouts in 3 weight classes and he's still winning fights at 40. I loved guys, there's a new article going up today of some different matchups that Fight Bananas wants to see after UFC Fight Night 251. So please go check out that article. But one of Dave's one of Fight Bananas matchups was for him to rematch against Robert Whittaker. What? One of Fight Bananas matchups was for him to rematch against Robert Whittaker. And I think that makes a lot of sense. I think it makes a lot of sense. It's a good opportunity for him to get that one back. And Whittaker, he's coming off the loss to Khamzat. I think it's a fun fight. Get out of here, Dave. Stop laughing at me. Stop it.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you, El. I'm laughing with you. Dude. El Dawson, the ruthless one. Best in the business, dude. Laura Sanko wears El Dawson pajamas. All right. There you go. No one, nothing.
Will you cut that so I can send it to her, please?
Sure. 39 minutes and 30 seconds, guys. Someone cut that out for me right now. Laura Sanko wears El Dawson pajamas when she goes to bed. All right. This is actually a good one right here. Sean Sterling, I will give you some love. This is one of them too. Co-main event coming up, UFC Seattle. Great transition right here, guys. Brendan All-In Allen versus Fluffy Hernandez. Love the fight. Maybe my favorite fight in the whole card. I could see that too. I could see Cannonier versus the winner of that. So, like I said,
it kind of depends what you want to do with Cannonier. Are we going to give him another opportunity to get back in title contention, or are we resigning him to gatekeeper status? Because I feel like Fluffy and Allen are on a trajectory.
So I think that fight makes more sense for the gatekeeper, right? Like, he needs to, one of those guys breaks through if they can beat Cannonier.
Yeah, exactly.
And to be honest, I don't know if either one of those guys beats Jared Cannonier in 2025. I don't know.
He's so complete. How about the takedown defense? And the get up? Like
He's
just
good.
It's just good everywhere. So such a complete fighter.
Yeah, I agree. All right,
Yes.
another one. Oh, hit on that.
Yes, we have to talk about this. Every single fighter knows if you tell a commission worker or a referee that you cannot see, the fight is over. Every fighter knows that. I swear. If you tell them you cannot see, you want to be done.
Yeah.
The fight will be stopped.
Yeah.
Period.
That
is all I'm going to say on that. And I'm very upset we did not get to see 2 more rounds of that because the first round was fantastic.
So good. I'm going to give this analogy to older men out there. I'm 40, beautiful wife. We have a lot of kids. Just say if it's late at night and your wife kind of snuggles up close to you on the couch and she starts kind of, hinting at stuff. You don't tell your wife if you have a headache, if you have your throat hurts, if you're not feeling good, you don't tell your wife nothing. All right. If your wife nudges you at 11:30 at night and you're not feeling great, you just keep on going down that track. You never tell your wife that your throat's not good. That's the same analogy. Am I right? Am I right? Oh, I think I nailed that one. Yeah, as a fighter, you never say anyone you can't see. You can't. If you do that, you're out of the fight. You're out.
Doesn't matter if you get poked in the eye. You don't say you can't see. Nope. You don't. It doesn't matter when you said you can't see. Their job is to stop the fight if you can't see. So
if you don't want to
change his mind after, doesn't matter. It's too late.
Yep.
It's too late. If you
don't want to fight, tell them you can't see. If you don't want to snuggle closer to your wife, say, hey, my throat doesn't feel good. All right.
That was the best analogy, Sean.
Thank you.
Is it the best analogy or the worst analogy? I'm honestly not sure.
I've written that one all day. So
Jordan flu game day. You fight through that. The men in the comment section,
they know. Us older men, we know. Hey, if you're
Dave is speaking truth here.
You're watching HBO Max, 11:30 at night on a Sunday, all the kids are asleep, and you're not feeling good, and your wife gives you the I'm fine, darling.
Does she give me the doomy eyes?
Yeah. All right, let's keep it going. Susie's going to effing kill me when she watches this show. She is going to just torture me.
So now we need somebody to cut this part up.
No cut. We're rolling. All right, UFC Seattle, co-main event. Let's hit on that real quick, El. I love the fight. You know me. I'm going to be honest. I'm a biased Brendan Allen guy. Brendan Allen's a betting underdog. I love it. I'm going with Allen on this fight, El.
Dude, I love Brendan Allen. I don't know. The pace, man. This is such a fascinating fight to me because they're both such great grapplers. But, man, the way Hernandez mixes his striking and his grappling and is just this constant pressure in your face. I'm very interested to see how Allen deals with that because Allen is not a guy that very often has to fight moving backwards. I don't know how this goes. I might be leaning fluffy a little bit here.
Ooh. So with you saying that your Fluffy's best chance to win this fight is him pushing the pace, him being in Brendan Allen's face the whole time and kind of just wearing him down. Is that how you foresee it?
I mean, that's how Anthony Hernandez fights.
Right. I agree. 10
times out of 10. And I think that I don't know how Allen deals with a style like that. We haven't really got to see that. So I'm interested. I think Hernandez's volume is his best asset.
No, I agree with that. I know this might sound crazy. After seeing Brendan Allen fight Nasruddin, and I'm no excuses. This is just my take. I think there was a lot of wonky stuff that happened over there and weight cut and he was off.
Yeah.
And
it wasn't just getting outclassed. He was off. I agree.
Yeah, he was off and he defeated Nasruddin easily in one of those rounds. Nasruddin beat him, I think, in one of those rounds. I think he'll say that. And the other round was close. And even Brendan, I saw in an interview with our great Ryan Jarrell, who does content on the YouTube channel for us. He even said, Brendan goes, yeah, I think Nasruddin maybe won 2 out of the 3, but the third round was close, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And now how all of us are like, oh, Nasruddin's the truth. Nasruddin's the man. He is unbeatable. Give him the title shot. I think that even tells me, I think I'm higher on Brendan Allen than I even was.
Yeah. I told Chris he was wrong, and now he came back with I'm with L. So I got to throw that up there. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Christopher J. Again, having my back.
I love it. I love it.
We're in agreement on this one. But I think it's a really exciting fight. I think the grappling exchanges are going to be so much fun.
Yeah. We got the Fighting Nerds. Gene Silva is back. What a great 2024 for him. Out of all the, and hear me out, guys. And I know we have Henry Cejudo, and we're going to get to him in 1 second. Out of everyone on this card, if you said, hey, this guy is the UFC star of 2026, who is it? I think we can all say it's Gene Silva from this card. Like, this is the guy out of UFC Seattle that could be in a championship fight in 2026.
Yeah. I think it was going to be Rizvan, but that fight got canceled. So
wow, look at this. L. Dawson doesn't even know I have this. You ready for this, L?
No.
Fights that got canceled off this card.
Oh, so many. Oh,
Caitlin Vieira versus Macy Chasson. Edson Barbosa versus Steve Mean Machine Garcia. I say that 3 times fast. Steve
Garcia.
Unbelievable, guys.
Rob Font, Dominic Cruz. We lost that fight.
Curtis Blades versus your heavyweight, who you said was the 3rd greatest heavyweight you've ever seen train.
Did I say that exactly?
I think so. And then, of course, Rozanov. It's just so many. There's 6 fights. Insane.
Yeah. This fight, though, this is the fight of the card. Dude, Sean.
Relax there.
Attaboy, Sean Sterling. No, dude. Javid Basharat is so freaking good. He's one of my favorite fighters to watch in the gym. Like, his sparring rounds, he is so freaking good. And a guy like Ricky Simone, who's just a veteran, so well-rounded, great wrestling, great power. I'm stoked for this fight. But yeah, the poor fans in Seattle losing fights left and right. But I'm happy they found I think what I think is a great replacement for Dominic Cruz. Maybe not the star power, but Matsumoto with as 16-0. I don't know if he's ready for a Rob Font, but he's a solid prospect for a short notice replacement. We don't usually get 16-0 prospects.
I'm gonna just no one agrees with you more. If I have to talk at your funeral, I will give you the nicest 18-minute speech giveaway ever. But that
Dave
I totally
he's gonna outlive me.
No, that's not true. I'm long gone by then. I am long gone by then. But I just not. This was Dominic Cruz.
It could be worse. I'm saying it could be worse. We could have not gotten Rob Font at all on this card.
That's true. That's true. I am bummed about Dominic Cruz. Like, I don't know why. I've never been a big Dominic Cruz guy. I'll just be honest. But I just think for him, this was going to be kind of like his card, his retirement card, win or lose. I think it was going to be a moment. And I think we're missing out on a mixed martial arts moment. I do.
I think the reason I'm sad about it is because I don't think he should have come back personally.
Right.
And so I feel like him not getting to go out in that fashion is a bummer.
Yeah.
You know, because he was solid. Yes, like he had been injured as well, but like he was solid in his legacy. And I feel like he got to come back, but then didn't get to have that final moment. So I'm with you. On that. All in on Basharat. Let's go. Nothing better than listening to murder names.
The best. I mean,
it's my favorite pastime. I've Dave's names that are hard to
pronounce. This show is me glitching, me, HBO Max with my wife late at night, and me murdering names. It's been an all-time.
At least we don't have Chidi Njokuani on the show today.
Dude, I would nail that right now. I would just absolutely nail that. All right, let me. I'm going to throw something out there. I want to be first on this. It's I think we're recording. It's Tuesday, February 18th, 1:50 on the East Coast. I think it's on. I'm going to throw something out there. I haven't heard this at all. So I want to be first. I want to cut this out. Fight bananas, people behind the scenes. If Henry Cejudo loses this fight, he puts down his gloves, and this could be the last time we see Henry Cejudo fight.
Yeah, I think it should be if he loses this fight. Am I glitching now?
I feel a little bit.
I feel like I'm glitching.
Wow.
Maybe it's just on my end. If Cejudo loses this fight, I think it's time.
Yeah.
I do.
Like, he is also the
it's
big
really
time.
bothering me.
If you want to come back, pop out and pop in. That's all I did, and just kind of refreshed my Google Chrome. All right. There's Elle Dawson. She's popping out. What I was going to say, guys, if Henry Cejudo, who is the betting underdog this weekend at UFC Seattle versus Young Dong Song, like, there's just guys, he's a Olympic gold medalist. Like, the guys like that don't just are around. Like, Henry Cejudo is not going to be, to me, a prelim type of fighter. And if he loses this fight, this is 3 L's in a row. His losses are great. I'll give anyone that. He lost to Merab Dvalishvili, and he lost a split decision for the championship against Aljamain Sterling. So his losses, to me, are as good as it gets. But my point is, a man to lose 3 fights in a row, he's elder in age. It's been a long layoff. I think it's just a not a self-esteem. It's one of those things. He's got his podcast. He's got too many good things going on. He's too secure in his legacy. And I don't think he wants to add up you don't want a Tony Ferguson. That's what the people call it on the streets. You don't want a Tony Ferguson the end of his career. And he's just too good to not, like, he's not going to fight the 22nd ranked guy on the prelims. It's Henry Cejudo, one of the greatest low weight fighters in the history of our sport. So if he loses this fight Saturday, like I said, I've heard no one said this. We're going to cut this up. If Henry Cejudo loses this fight, I think he puts his gloves down in the octagon and walks away. So that's my Henry Cejudo take. I agree with Cejudo. I love it, Chris. L's if Cejudo loses.
I'm assuming you said what I'm assuming you said, which is that he should be done. And I think I agree. I think he's another one. I kind of wish he hadn't come back. Although I do think he will beat Song. I think Song is
me too, actually.
Young, hungry, talented, an absolute stud, super dangerous fighter. But I think the wrestling is just going to be too much. We saw Cejudo wrestle so incredibly well, in a lot of exchanges with Merab, who is the best. So I definitely think he's still got that edge when it comes to the grappling. So I don't think we see that happen. But yes, if that does happen, I think it's time to be done. I think the reason he came back is the same reason a lot of guys came back. Like, they love to compete. Henry Cejudo has been competing his entire life. Like, it's not an ego trip. It's not that. It's that you don't know what to do with yourself when you retire. Like.
You ever had Dutch Bros?
I love Dutch Brothers. Oh, it's so good.
They're brand new in our town. Brand new.
You have them?
Yeah, brand new.
We have them in Utah. When I go,
it was packed today.
When I go to see my family in Utah, I get Dutch Brothers all the time, but I've never seen one in Florida.
So good. Look how big this cup is.
No, they're the best. Their coffee's amazing. Do you get the little, what's it called? A snow cap? Like the foam, the cold foam that they put on top?
No. So I had no snow cap. I got a Americano.
Next time, whatever you get the snow cap on top.
Say, hey, I want a
makes
snow
everything
cap.
better. It's just like sweet, foamy milk that goes on top. It's so good.
Yeah.
You can put it on anything. Grant got like a mango smoothie with a snow cap on it, and it was fire. But
I've snow capped a couple times in my life.
Back to Cejudo. I don't think these guys know what to do with themselves when they've been competing as long as a guy like Cejudo has,
Jeez. Oh gosh, unbelievable.
So
Christian,
where is the Dutch Brothers? Because
I got it in Port Orange, Florida, brand new, literally 3 days old. People were talking about it all in my town. I had to get it. They've been building it right off the highway. So go get it. There you go. Yeah. So it's delicious.
How many of these fighters come back when they realize? I don't think this is what's happening with a lot of these veterans. I think if they wanted to be released, a lot of them probably could be.
Yeah.
Like the UFC has no reason to hang on to those guys. They don't necessarily need them,
Paulie Holm said, hey, Dana, can I please get released? They say, no doubt. See you.
Yeah, she a lot. Several fighters were released to go to GFL, you know, not several, but a handful, you know, there were a few. There were even like some younger ones too. But why do Americans like to drink 2 pints of coffee? Hey, I'm a 1 cup of coffee kind of gal. I have 1 espresso in the morning. I'm set for the day. But Mike Brown, Dave, Mike Brown drinks more coffee than any human being I have ever seen in my entire life.
Me and Brown. Hey, Jake, you know why? I got 4 kids, businesses, running, content. I'm Elle texted me last night at 11:30 a.m. I'm texting out links this morning at 5:30. I never stop, my man. So I'm on coffee nonstop. All right.
I want to know how are you surviving on just tea?
Yeah,
my man. Like,
yeah, come on, Jake. Come on, Jake. But talking about someone who doesn't need coffee, you know how she gets energy? She chokes people out. She like goes to training, goes, hey, I'm just going to choke someone out. And she just lives on that's her high. Maybe something else too. But my buttons are not working. I've been trying to talk and push buttons at the same time. Guys, we love her. We adore her. Sunday morning, she's been killing it with Elle Dawson on the Sunday Morning Brew. The show's on fire. Big show. It's introduced the one, Gillian Savage Robertson. What's up, G?
You covered exactly what I was going to say. I was going to say I have a little bit different type of coffee in the morning usually.
There you go. I was going to say that, but I thought I'll let you run with that one. So how's life, G? How's training? How's everything going?
Things are going good. I think I'm like 10 weeks out. Still way too far.
Yeah.
Way too far to even think about it. So I think like this week, last week, we're just kind of like getting like baby steps into training, kind of like picking up the cardio, being a little bit more stricter on my diet. Like instead of having like 3 or 4 cheat days, I'm doing like 1 or 2 right now. So just cutting it down a lot and just like slowly getting to the place where we need to be. But I'm still just on a high from like getting fight news. I'm just so excited for this fight.
Who scuffed you up?
That was the cage, man.
Oh, ow.
I shot and my friend defended a little bit. Then I went to reshoot and he moved out of the way and my forehead hit the cage. So
that's the worst. The worst is when you're drilling and you don't have adrenaline because you're just drilling and you're not wearing gloves and your hand, like your little hand bones get like smashed against the cage. It's the worst.
I feel like people don't understand like how brutal the cage actually is, and especially like the UFC cage too. Not even just like the chain link on the side, but the mat. The mat is so rough. The mat burn that you get from that is absolutely ridiculous.
That's why there's so many strikers in the UFC.
Watching fights, I'm always looking at people's knees, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that poor mat burn.
Grant gets it so bad. It's so bad.
Those UFC mats are rougher than you'll find anywhere else.
Yeah. I mean, the grippiness has got to be worth it, right?
Oh, yeah. Obviously, like any show you fight on a regional scene, typically speaking, they have like, I don't know, that vinyl that's slippery as anything. So, yeah, it definitely makes a huge difference to have the canvas there. So you have that extra grip. And I guess it's like, it doesn't really matter in the moment, but post-fight when you have a shower and you're dealing with those mat burns is when you're like, oh, it's not worth it.
Insane. And like we said earlier, Sunday morning brew, very successful so far. Elle Dawson and Gillian Robertson right off usually the UFC recap and stuff. Show's been absolutely awesome. But a couple things I want to mention we kind of went through, G. Anything else on UFC Vegas 102? I know you guys talked about it. We kind of hit a lot on Jared Cannonier. Open scoring came up. We talked a lot about Youssef kind of winning for sure the first 2 rounds, and the third round was wonky, running the round. Anything on UFC Vegas 102 you definitely want to drop on this show today?
No, I think we talked a lot about it on Sunday about just going through the fights. I think that Zalal had an impressive performance. I don't think that I guess he kind of took the third round off, but he also did enough in the first 2 rounds to really secure it. I think that Walter Walker went out there and showed how a flawless heavyweight performance goes. And I think it was a decent weekend of fights for a fight night.
It's funny you said his name. I actually have one of my notes questions for you guys. So I heard rewatched the show back. Elle, I know you mentioned Towson Teixeira and Walter Walker. So my question, we'll start with G, then we'll go to L. If you had $100 stock and you had to put it in one of those heavyweights, Johnny Walker's brother, Walter Walker, or Talson Teixeira, the undefeated monster kind of knockout artist. G, where are you putting your money, into Walker or Teixeira?
You know where my heart is.
There you go. Okay.
With the grapplers, I have to. I think it's a safer way. It's less like at that weight, say two guys do just decide to stand on the feet and swing. It's like anything can happen. Where it's like with Walter Walker, he just is able to take them down, where heavyweights don't necessarily have the best jiu-jitsu or defense. And it just seemed he's in and out of there quick, easy. I feel like that's the more effective way.
100%. Yeah.
Oh.
No. Being able to wrestle at heavyweight is a hot commodity. That's why Cain Velasquez was such a savage.
Wow. Okay. I'm gonna play devil's advocate then. I think Teixeira, as much like we've seen Sergey Pavlovich do it, we've seen Tai Tuivasa and Derek Lewis have long UFC careers on it. I know Aspinall is the kind of the best of both worlds, but he's just running through people. As a heavyweight division, if I can put my hand on you, especially quick, like I think that's a hard man to beat.
I have a question for you, Dave. What happened to Derek Lewis when he fought a really good wrestler?
He was 46 years old now.
What
happened? Knocking guys out too, but there were no wrestlers in the way. Of
I understand.
There's so few. DC was already retired.
I was going to say what happened with Robelis Despangane. He came in an unstoppable striker, got wrestled in the UFC, and they cut him real quick.
No, it's very valid by both of you. So you're saying if Walter Walker fights Teixeira at UFC 314, you guys both have Walker, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I think I'm siding with Walker.
I would lean Walker. Obviously, like every fight starts on the feet. You can get clipped, but if I'm on top of you, all of a sudden your chances of knocking me out are almost zero. So I think I'm always going to side with the wrestler. Tell Sean to
I know, yeah.
Sean's here to argue.
There's always it's
one. Not a perfect system, Sean.
I know, yeah. There's always one. G, I know, and we've talked about it. Even you talked about it even on air. Even Angela Hill has talked about it on her show, kind of on air, that you guys were, matched up maybe once or twice and just never came to be. Angela Hill wins again, and I know I feel like you're in front of her and you're kind of moving the opposite direction. But if she keeps on winning, it seems like the UFC puts her name out there. Maybe a poster, maybe a early summer poster, you versus Angela Hill at the Apex.
I mean, it's definitely something I'm not going to deny as long as I have the time. Because I'm like, I can't say it because I have denied it when I didn't have the time. I'm like, they offered me on too short notice for me to make weight. So I have denied the fight because I didn't have the ability to make weight. But as long as I have enough time, I would 100% be willing for that fight. The only reason, like you said, it doesn't really interest me, I guess, as much is I feel like after this fight, I go out there and have an impressive performance. I think I am going to be a little bit ahead of her at this point in the rankings, a little bit. I expect myself to be somewhere between 5 and 7 if I go out there and perform well. So I'm like, I feel like I'm going to be looking at girls who are like 1 through 5 after that.
Love it. All right. We put a bow on UFC Vegas 102. Elle and I were just running through UFC Seattle this weekend. Great card. The main event and co-main event, 4 very high-level guys. Even I feel like the underdogs, Brendan Allen and Henry Cejudo, bigger names maybe, and maybe a lot of people are putting their money on those 2 guys. G, out of those 4 guys, those 2 matchups, what really grabs your attention?
In the co-main event, that one's definitely one that grabs my attention. We talked a lot about it on Sunday. I really think that Brendan Allen versus Fluffy is like, Anthony Hernandez just really impressed me in his last performance. He really showed a gritty, dominant MMA fighter where he was shooting, doing jiu-jitsu, going back to striking, back to wrestling, back. It was just chaotic in the best way possible, Yeah. So I absolutely love that style. I think that is going to bring a lot of problems for someone like Brendan Allen, who seems a little bit more, I guess, more jiu-jitsu heavy than like MMA grappling as a whole. And I really I'm looking forward to that fight, but I think Hernandez has it.
That's a great breakdown, G. I actually like that breakdown a lot. I'm leaning Brendan Allen. I just think he's fought, in main events and I hate to say this, bigger names. Like he just fought Nasruddin Imhoff. He's fought some really high level names, got some wins, got some losses against him. I just think this is like Fluffy Hernandez's biggest spot to date. So I'm leaning Brendan, but I've been more wrong than right in my UFC pick. So you guys are probably right, and you had a better breakdown. So that's a good breakdown. How about Cejudo and Song in the main event?
Cejudo and Song, I know Song's looked really good. It is a great up and comer, but I think Cejudo is just a little bit too big of a task for him right now. I'm still siding Cejudo on this one, but I don't think it's going to be like an easy fight. I think Song's still a dog. He's still in there, but I think that Cejudo's wrestling is just going to be too much.
I like that. Me too. And he's a plus 220 right now. It's wild. I'm like, when it's too good to be true, it usually is. And it's like, I love Cejudo too. Like, I think, especially at a 5-round fight, big main event, like I like Cejudo in this spot a lot. I don't know.
Vegas, made an error with the odds with Cannonier and Rodriguez. So it can definitely happen 2 weekends in a row. That
is true. Very good point. Anything else on UFC Seattle? I know there's Gene Silva's on the card. Anything else that jumps your attention, or are we good on that?
I'm always down for the fighting nerd. So Gene Silva's got my attention 100%. I know Basharat's on the card too. So I'm like, Basharat always brings a fight, always brings a very technical stand-up battle. I'm super excited for that one too.
Love it. Love it. Another thing we talked about earlier before you came on, G, was the PFL announced their female flyweight kind of division for their tournament. A lot of people so far, it's been out for a couple hours. A lot of people are like, whoa, Dakota Ditcheva is not in it. She's not in the tournament. When I say that to you, if you're hearing it for the first time, what's your immediate reaction on that?
I guess, shocked initially, but I'm like, maybe it just makes me curious for what her plans are or their plans are. Is her plans not with the PFL and that's why she's not in the, because I'm like, that is super exciting for me. I would love to see her in the UFC. I would love to see her compete against those girls. So I'm like, fingers crossed, hoping that's what it means.
Just imagine this, guys. Imagine, the year comes by and Weili moves up to flyweight, defeats Valentina Shevchenko. We're like, holy crap. Like, this is maybe the best female of all time. Dakota fights one more time in the PFL. Her contract runs out in 2026, February. We have Dakota Ditcheva versus Weili Zhang for the flyweight UFC championship. Insane.
Even her against Valentina, I would love to see. I think that would be a great striking match as well. And I think it'd be interesting because, like, she beat Taila Santos, who arguably could have beat Valentina without a headbutt. So it's like, if we're going like MMA math here, it would be cool to see someone be able to challenge Valentina again.
Yeah, I think we got a glimpse of what that might look like with Alexa Grasso. And then I'm not sure what really happened, if it was just Valentina just leveling up or Grasso just not showing up. But after their last matchup, I agree. There's just not, I guess Furo, I'm interested to see, but it's not the most exciting matchup for me.
Yeah.
I would love to see that as well.
I threw out an analogy like last week. Let me know if you guys like it. I see Valentina Shevchenko a lot of George St. Pierre. Jumped into the scene, was unbeatable. And to me, they're both more stand-up type A fighters. And they did whatever they had to do, a knockout win or jab or kick, whatever they had to do to win. And then when their career kept on progressing and they're like, hey, wait a second, like I can take these fighters down and I can kind of not get hit. I think after the course, who's the short lefty who defeated George St. Pierre, who didn't win?
Wait, say that again.
In the main event, who beat GSP but didn't win?
Matt Serra?
Serra?
No.
Beat GSP but didn't win?
Lefty. Like he destroyed him that night. Remember the judges gave it to George St. Pierre?
Hendricks?
Yes, Johnny Hendricks.
Johnny Hendricks. I was like, oh my God.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Sean.
Sean's in the comments to help.
After that win, George St. Pierre's like, let's wrestle. Like, I don't want to stand anymore. And I think Valentina, and I just think that was the easier avenue for her to beat Grasso. And I'm really intrigued to see if she fights Weili, how she'll fight. I just see a lot of, straight lines with them too. Valentina and George St. Pierre.
No, I can definitely see, I guess, similarities. I think some of it might come with age too. It's just a safer way to fight, to be able to, like, her last fight, she just kind of took Alexa down and controlled a lot on top. It's a safe way to secure a win versus these explosive striking battles.
Yeah, efficient. It's less dangerous, guys. If I'm on top of you, you can't knock me out, most likely. Unless your name is Nico Price sometimes.
Yeah. Nico Price and Kevin Holland got a couple in there, but that's about it.
Souza, right?
Yeah.
Crazy. All right. So I was saving this nugget for you for sure, G. I would assume you've seen some of these matchups. You guys talked about GFL on Sunday a little bit. We talked a little bit about it. I'm so intrigued. I have no idea if we're ever going to see any of these fights. I hate when this organization made these fights and made these fight posters with no dates and no addresses on them. That's a bad recipe. I'm just letting you know that right now. Throwing it out there. That's a bad recipe. But did you see some of these matchups, like Yoel Romero versus Shogun, Rockholt versus Weidman, Renan Barao versus Uriah Faber? Like, what are we doing, G?
I said this on the show on Sunday when G and I were talking. Mike Brown did the math. The average age on the roster is 36 and a half.
Oh, boy.
So just to throw that nugget out there for you, Dave. Sorry, G. Carry on.
We also threw out the nugget that Douglas Lima is the only one that in the announced bout so far that is under the age of 40.
Wow.
I think they have announced a few more now with some late 30s people. But yeah, at the time, it was literally just him.
What? Yeah, I had only seen the first 4 announced, and all like Verdum 47 versus Frank Mir.
Yeah, what are we doing?
I'm like, what are we doing here? Dean's like, the last time I saw Frank Mir, he could hardly walk. Like, I can't imagine me at 45, 47, whatever. My body's already breaking down at 29. We're not doing good over here. I'm like, I can't imagine being that age, having to go out perform. I don't know if they ever are going to. I don't know if this is ever going to even come to fruition. In my mind, I don't see how. Physically how it comes to, but I don't know, like even things that they released that they had to trade Luke Rockhold from Team Dubai to Team LA so then they could make the Chris Weidman fight happen, and I'm like, what does that even mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I agree with you. It's like, guys, like I hate to go back on this. Why would you make the announcement? Why make and also I hate to say this too, it's a horrible fight poster. Like, you are a MMA organization. You guys have a ton of money. Oh, am I wrong on it? The GFL fight posters are dog shit.
They're horrible. Made it on Canva. I'll give you that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Fight Bananas has better fight announcements than a MMA organization.
Tell them they should hire you.
They can't afford me. All right. Let's just say that. GFL can't afford me. But it's a joke that, one, it looks horrendous, and two, why make the announcement if you don't have the announcement? Like, why throw it out there? Where is it? What date? Where can you buy tickets? What card is it on? Like, you just made 5 announcements to make 5 announcements. It's dead.
My question has still not been answered. I don't think. Is there drug testing?
There can't be.
There can't be. Right?
Absolutely can't be. Like, there's no possible way that they could have drug testing with that many people over 40.
No, these guys have been out for years. Like, honestly, it would be detrimental for most of them to get off TRT because they probably need it at this point. Like, they probably do. And so it's like, I'm very curious. Are they having an issue finding a state commission that will allow them to use the weight classes that they're using? Are they having trouble finding a state commission in a big enough city that will allow them to all be on TRT? Like, what is the holdup? And why aren't we getting any answers is my question.
Well, even like a lot of the announced bouts that they have been like Team Brazil versus Team New York, then Team, I don't know, like Dubai versus Team LA. I thought it was supposed to be like team versus team, or like, why are we even on teams if we're just throwing it? Like, it just seemed, I don't know. It's very confusing.
It doesn't make sense. And I'm not even joking this. I think on this show, I'm brutally honest, probably too honest. Gee, I'm sorry. I just talked about my my love life. Yeah, at night, with my wife, watching HBO Max 30 minutes ago. You missed that segment. It was a good one. Go back and watch it. But I'm not even joking, Christian. If they called me and said, hey, the first show is April 20th, we'll fly you out here, we'll pay you this amount. If it's not a crazy amount of money, I would turn it down. I'm not even joking. Because really? I would. The reason is I don't foresee a multiple shows. I don't see a future in it. I think it's a one-off. If they offer me enough money that I can't say no, for sure. There's definitely a number. We talked about stuff like this off air, L. But like if they're, I don't foresee them offering a ton of money because of like, where is it?
How much they've spent?
Yeah. Especially how much money they spent on their artwork.
I would go. Just because I want to know what's happening. Like, I feel like I want to be in the room. I want to hear, I want to know what's happening. What is going on here? I feel like if you're there and you're behind the scenes, you might get some more information. I would go just for that reason.
I would just go to make sure it's real.
Yeah. Is this AI?
Yeah.
Dude, I want to pull this comment up. I'm not hating on the use of steroids by any means, because I want to see the enhanced games. I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but they've been talking about doing like a juiced Olympics for a while. I want to see that so badly. I want to see what human potential can produce on all the drugs. So I'm all for watching that as a spectator.
I love it. Dude, Christopher J. selling out, buddy. Hey, I respect it. I respect it. I did a brand risk. I did a Aiden Ross. I introduced Sexy Red to the ring. So hey, anything for money, it's a long line right there.
That's making it big.
She's doppelganger.
Yeah, it was wild.
Exactly.
I swear it was a dark gym. I'm like, Jillian's here? That was my first thing. I'm like, what?
Must have been really dark.
Yeah.
It was just like I saw just red in my what is it called? Something vision?
Peripheral?
Like my peripheral. Exactly. And I'm like, we're down in South Florida. I'm like, G's here?
Yeah,
and then I'm like, and then I honestly didn't know who it was. I'm like, oh, that's just someone else. And then they give me the card. They're like, hey, you have to introduce her. She's going to sing and she's going to throw $5,000 cash on the floor. I'm like,
oh, that was from Sexy Red?
Yeah, that's Sexy Red.
They sent me a video of people just picking up $1 bills out of the ring. I was like, what is this?
It was a great show. It was a great show. Oh, my goodness. All right. I think.
Anywho.
I had one more thing for G. We did the Walter Walker to Shara thing. GFL. Oh, I do have one last thing for you. This is for both of you guys. So I don't know. I watch every fight on the card, first prelim to the end. And I think it was the first or second fight of the night. And it was a female bantamweight fight. And I know, G, you have first fight. Okay.
Yeah.
How bad was that fight? It was. That's bad for the sport. That is bad for the UFC. I'm not trying to hate. I'm the most positive person. That is a horrific fight. One woman looked like she was 88 years old with gray hair. I'm not even trying to be like that. She looked 88, and I'm happy she did retire because at least she had a little bit of that. What are we doing in the bantamweight division, guys? Like, what are we effing doing? Who's the champion? I know we have Kayla Harrison. Like, she should be on every card. Kayla should be there live, I think. What are we doing in the bantamweight division? It's such a joke.
They need Kayla. Like, they have desperately needed Kayla. I do agree.
Yeah, my boyfriend walked out like halfway through that fight, and he was like, "Oh, how's it going?" And I was like, "It's a women's bantamweight fight." Like, that's all you need to know. That's the only answer. I'm like, because it's like majority. There's Kayla. There's Eileen Perez. There's obviously the champ.
Yep.
I'm like, there's very few contenders in that game, and everybody else. I'm like, even the girl who fought Jacqueline, the girl who was she was the other half of the first fight. she looks like she has potential to be good. She just doesn't open up.
Yeah.
She just is so timid when she fights, but her striking looks good and she's able to capitalize when she does actually throw punches. But I feel like she just sits there and stands in front of people for so long. And I'm like you said,
Forever.
Yeah, forever. Such a boring fight.
Yeah. And carry on.
I was just gonna say real quick, G knows I'm her biggest fan. I am a Gillian Robertson guy. If you're a bantamweight, you are the top 4 bantamweight in the world right now. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, I just think wrestle, dominate, boom, submission. Like, it is so bad in that division. Like, it's bad.
Dean and I used to always joke for me to just gain weight and go up to bantamweight because it'd be easier there.
Dude, and it's, you also can get away with more. You can get away with having a little bit less athleticism in the higher weight classes. Norma is sometimes fun to watch.
Yeah, she's okay.
I'll give you that. Like, she's definitely, she's a contender, meaning like she's in the top 5. But I don't know that I'm ecstatic when Norma Dumont is on the card. You know, like I'm not getting super excited. Eileen is actually fun to watch.
100%.
She's had like maybe one that wasn't like super explosive, exciting, but she's had a ton of finishes, which is a big rarity at 135, you know? So she's fun to watch.
And then more than anything else, she's gonna dance, she's gonna talk on the mic, she's gonna be a presence. The female bantamweights, other than Kayla Harrison, doesn't do anything. Like, they are just not even there. They're irrelevant. Like,
yeah. Honestly, that's a great point. There really aren't a lot of personalities. And honestly, like, as much as I don't like Juliana Pena, at least she has a personality.
Yeah, for better or worse.
You know, like,
an insufferable one, but
it's terrible. But she does have one. So like, she gets on the mic and does something. So I gotta credit her there, because it's like very few people are talking like Kayla, like Eileen. Like, it's just doesn't happen, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I wish Eileen had beef with somebody in her weight class instead of Tracy Cortez. That would be more exciting.
I still think that fight would be exciting regardless.
I agree.
Yeah, I would love, honestly, Tracy, I don't know personally. I've seen her in person. She seems like she's a bigger 25er.
Yeah.
Like, she seems like she might struggle a little bit to make 25, would probably be comfortable at 35. Why don't you make the fight happen? Yeah, and she can wrestle.
I don't mind. I'd see it. I'd go watch it. I think she might do all right at 135.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting matchup to make.
No, this is absolutely accurate from Christopher. Like,
like,
more shallow than men's heavyweight. Like, it really is. And how many girls are in the division that aren't ranked? That's what I want to know.
I want to say, because I saw the list like last week, where I want to say there's about, I think, like 34 girls in the heavyweight division, in the 35 division, where there's 30 guys in the heavyweight division. It was just a little bit more, I remember seeing.
I'm gonna look up the number right now. How many
That's
UFC
insane.
women?
I'm not even trying to. I can't name 12, and I talk about MMA for a living. It's like what I do. I can't name 12 girls in the bantamweight division.
Let's see if it tells me on UFC.com. Women's bantamweight division.
Can you run through it, Al?
Huh?
Can you run through it? Can you say some of the names?
Oh, I can tell you who's ranked. I was trying to figure out how many girls aren't ranked.
Right.
Raquel. So obviously you have Pena as the champ, Raquel Pennington, #1 contender, Kayla's #2, then Ketlin Vieira, Norma Dumont, Macy Chiasson, Irene Aldana, Mayra Bueno Silva, Eileen Perez, which Mayra just went down to 125, so she's gone from the rankings. Eileen Perez, Carol Rosa,
Buda Silva?
Bueno Silva?
Yeah.
Yeah, she went down to 125. Carol Rosa, Yana Santos, Jacqueline Cavalcante, like Misha Tate, Nora Cornell, Chelsea Chandler, and Julia Avila. So to your comment from earlier, the fight that we saw that I think we can agree was not the best fight we've ever seen was the number 15 and now she's number 15. It looks like she went down 3. So at the time she was number 12 and the girl she was fighting was number 13. So both those girls were ranked at the beginning of that fight.
The UFC lightweight division is like Benoit Saint Denis versus Jalen Turner. You're like, oh my goodness, 2 absolute bangers. And then
there are fights I get ecstatic about at men's lightweight that are not even close to being ranked.
Yeah.
Like, anytime Nazim Sajikov is on a card, I'm ecstatic. I know that's going to be a banger. He's not even in the rankings. You know, it's just, I wish there was more. I wish there were more girls at that size that, you know, could compete at that level. That's why 115 is such a freaking gift, because it's by far the deepest women's division and probably always will be, you know.
Got to bring back Amanda.
Honestly,
might.
Kayla wins the belt, bring Amanda back, make that setup. Yeah. That's going to be the only thing left at that point, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate to say it, we really do need to keep Aline keep on winning, because if she keeps on winning, she can kind of become this, like the next, you know, girl. If she wins 3 more fights and keeps on dancing, keeps on talking her junk, I love it. Like, she will fight Kayla or Amanda, God forbid if Amanda stays or whatever. Like, her and Kayla in 2026 is like a logistic real thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Eileen is currently on a 5-fight winning streak, so it's like she's definitely on the up and up, definitely like close to that spot. I want to say I saw a graphic posted that Ronda and Amanda are the only 2 that have longer winning streaks than Eileen in the UFC.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. And like so many people, let's just be honest, I think because she is a louder and she does the dance stuff, a lot of people don't. I feel like from afar, I hear and see. They don't really maybe respect how good she's actually is inside the octagon. And hey, just keep on winning fights. I love it.
I mean, she'll sell it. Like she'll sell it. Like, and that's what that division needs. Like they need somebody who can get on the mic and talk.
Oh yeah, they just need eyes on them.
Yeah, I agree. I'm telling you.
She gets like super fluent with her English, like, and just starts trash talking everybody in English too. Cause I know, like, there was the Spanish going on between her and Tracy Cortez. I was like, I don't know what they're saying, but I know it's hot. Like, I want to know what's happening.
I actually didn't even care. They could keep yelling like that in Spanish. I was sold in. Telling you, G, go back around the 28-minute mark. You will, you will see some rated R fight banana stuff. I'm sorry, I had to go there. You know, some analogies.
It was barely PG-13, Dave.
Maybe PG-13. Maybe PG-13. G, you're the absolute best. Sunday morning, 10 a.m. The Sunday Morning Brew. Elle Dawson and Jillian's literally carrying fight bananas on their back. Best in the world.
It's mostly G.
No, that's it. Just ready to get back to fight camp. Ready to go to the park with these 2.
There we go. The toughest dog mom on this planet, Gillian, the Savage Robertson. There we go, G. Appreciate you. Talk to you soon.
See you guys.
Hi, G.
The best. She's the best. All right, there we go.
All right, Dave just shitting all over the women's 135ers today.
I had to. I had notes. So I was actually going to do after UFC Vegas 102. I was all so sick last week, and you had to do the show. So I was like, I was just ready to talk. It's what I do. I just had to get ideas out of my brain. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to do like a post show. And just like, I started writing notes, and my first like 8 notes was the UFC female bantamweight division's shit, like absolute shit. That was my first thing. Elle, I'm going to run to the restroom real quick in 9 seconds.
Hang on, somebody's calling me.
Whoa. Is that Dakota Ditcheva? Does she have breaking news?
It's Mike Brown.
Get it. Oh. You can get it. Get it.
No, it's okay. I already hung it up. I'm texting back.
All right. I'm going to run to the bathroom. You any topic you want, the whole floor of Fight Bananas is yours. Youssef is joining the show in 15 minutes, by the way.
Wait, are you out?
No.
Okay,
yeah, I'm just running to the bathroom. I'll be back in 8 seconds.
I was distracted by my phone. Yeah, dude, let's talk. Let's continue this talk on the women's bantamweight division. I think it's a testament to why the UFC needs atomweight. We need 105 pounds. And if you look at the history of the heavier weight classes in women's MMA, I think that's becoming more apparent. The featherweight division just could not last in the UFC for a really long time. They didn't even have rankings. Put that on speaker. I thought you were saying you couldn't hear me for a second. I was like, no, not putting Mike Brown on speaker. For a while, they didn't even have rankings for women's featherweight because there were so few fighters. It was literally something that they created for Chris Cyborg. And when that ship sailed, I just feel like there was nothing left to have. And that's why PFL was able to pick up women's featherweight and have such success with it, because there were girls that they could have a deeper weight class. They had girls of all levels. They had girls on developmental contracts that would not have been ready for the UFC. So PFL was kind of able to take over women's featherweight, but it's a there's a very good reason the UFC cut that division. And my fear is that, Sean's always has my back, always having my back. But, as I almost kicked my cup over. But there's a very good reason they cut 145. I loved that comment. Picks her up and rolls her like a cigar. I'm going to use that.
Jake's
feeling that,
savage. Jake is a
savage right here.
Comment section.
But no, my last point, and then we'll go on to whatever else you wanted to talk about. But I feel like my fear is that when Kayla Harrison decides her time has come to retire, will there be anybody to take over that division, or will we see the division dwindle the same way we saw featherweight dwindle? And I think it's just there is more athleticism at lighter weight classes with female fighters. The fights might have less finishes, but they are more exciting. I promise you. 105-pound fighters would put on a much more technical fight than what we saw.
Yeah.
That last one. Yeah, no, Laura's been fighting for the atom weights for years with Mick and with Dana. Dana has alluded to it a few times. Everybody sends it. Every time he says something about it, like 15 people send it to me. It's like, oh, he's going to add atom weight. I'm like, yeah, he said that like 7 times. Yeah. It's probably not happening, but if it does, now is the time when bantamweight is hurting so badly. Besides Kayla Harrison, now is the time.
Well, there we go. That's awesome. I actually had something else, but our third guest just popped in. El, you good to go with Youssef? I love it.
Let's go.
All right. We just talked about it multiple times. We feel like the biggest win of UFC Vegas 102 won the co-main event. Huge winning streak. Featherweight division now ranked number 12. Add him to the show. First time I was talking to him, El. Youssef Zalal. Youssef, what's up, man?
You did so good earlier, Dave. What's up, Youssef? How's it going, man?
It's not last name, but it's all good. It's all good. How we doing?
Doing
well. Good to see you. Good to see you. It's been a while.
I know. It's been a minute. It's been a long time.
I know. Where are you joining us from?
My house.
Up in Colorado?
Yeah, it's snowing out here right now too. So it's like
no, that's not. I'm not about
wild.
That.
Woo!
That's terribly cold out there. I'm gonna go sit in the Florida sun.
I don't even know what's the temperature outside right now. I think it's let's see. 18.
What? It's 80 outside for me. So.
Wow, that Florida life, huh?
Dude, I love it. I do not miss being cold at all. I do not miss during winter, even a little bit. But I mean, so you've been up in Colorado for a while. I know a lot of people people live in and outside of Denver. Are you one of those guys that's like commuting crazy far?
Not really, not that much. Like the gym from me, the Factory X is like 10 minutes. And then obviously the strength conditioning, it's about, I would say 20 minutes. And then my jiu-jitsu coach's gym, it's about, I would say like 20 minutes as well. So it's kind of like then and then. It's not too crazy, but it's part of the job though. This is what we do.
Absolutely.
Talking about part of the job, Youssef, I've seen you everywhere. Like every interview, every poster since. For one, I'm not saying this because you're on the show. I said this earlier. I love your smile. You have a radiant smile. Do you love this part of it all? Of course, hopefully after a win, you get to talk, keep it going, keep that momentum going. Do you like this part of your job of being a UFC star?
Of course, man. It's part of the job, and that's how you know you're doing good. So, because hey, man, I've been on both sides. When you're losing, ain't nobody cares about you. They're like, oh yeah, we'll do like one interview and that's it. You know what I mean? So, that's why it's kind of like, whatever, man. It's like you enjoy the life, and and we want to be a world champion, and I will be a world champion. And obviously, it comes with a lot of stuff. Damn, Youssef done like 50. God damn, I didn't know that. Oh my god. And we got Christian everywhere. Christian is the FBI over here, but I gotta watch out for that guy, bro. God damn. What else you know about me, bro? What's going on over here, bro?
We see you everywhere. Love to see it, man. I'm glad you're getting the attention. You like you said when you're losing, nobody cares. Like, how freaking great does it feel to have, obviously you got cut, you had to go back to the drawing board. You were incredibly active in those 2 years off from the UFC, and to come back in and just, there's a snowball effect. What have you changed, and how good does it feel to be back with 4 straight in a row in the UFC?
Oh man, the crazy part is like even right now one of the most active featherweights. I have 4 fights in 11 months. You know what I mean? So, and 11 months ago, I was not even in the UFC. So for me to kind of just like appreciate that and be grateful for that, you know what I mean? I feel like a lot of these guys that want to be like, oh, give me 6 months, give me a full camp, this and this and that. Like, we know where we want to be, you know what I mean? So it's definitely, it's a blessing, you know what I mean? But the main thing, it's my reason why, you know what I mean? I feel like I slept on that a little bit, you know what I mean? Especially when you start like winning in the beginning and then you lost 3 in a row and then you had a draw and then you got kicked. So life really humbles you real quick. And then you really find out like if you're really about this or not, you know what I mean? And that's what it is. It's like having the hope, having the faith and the discipline and then staying consistent and all that stuff like all comes together and it makes the recipe, you know what I mean? And I can't wait to keep messing with this recipe a little bit and then all the way to the top.
Got yourself a big fan here in the comments.
How great is this comment?
Stayed up till 4 a.m. to watch your fight in Tangier.
Hey, that's Morocco. Yeah, it was like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. down there. Yeah.
Wow,
that's great.
That's what the Moroccan support right there. Let's go.
Love it. Love to see it. Yeah, no, Christian said he just saw you on another podcast this morning.
I was at 2 podcasts. I was at Anthony Smith and Dean Thomas.
Got a busy day, man. Busy day.
I love it. I love his energy too. You like what you just fought, Calvin. You know, like you said, you even said it multiple times, you know, kind of a legend, future UFC Hall of Famer. If the next opponent is that in the same, you know, ballpark, you want to fight maybe another, you know, future UFC Hall of Famer or maybe another young guy like yourself kind of on the cup, or you don't care, like whatever comes up, whatever name comes on that white line, they say to you, we'll just keep on moving forward.
Listen, man, the Lions focuses on territory. You know, I don't need to focus on everybody else's territory. You know what I mean? So if that means that somebody wants to come fight me, I got to defend my territory and I got to defend my pride. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. I don't care. Like I called out Yair. I know Yair doesn't have a fight. I heard he was supposed to fight Diego and it didn't go through or something. I have no clue, but I wanted to step up and I'm still willing to step up. So obviously we'll see what they have, but it really doesn't matter what they have for me, man. I'm just excited to be not just in the rankings, to be in the UFC and then give my opportunity again and keep showing these guys that I will be a world champion.
Yeah, big congrats on. I just saw you just got ranked, I think, while we were on the show at number 12. So congrats there. It's got to be.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Enter the rankings for the first time.
Hey, congratulations on you guys, though. You guys got ranked too. So I don't know. It's like number 14, right?
Moved up. I was like, that's kind of random, but I mean, I'm not mad about it. Like, let's go.
Yeah, life is good right there.
They saw Grant training. He had a good week of training. They're like, no, he's not 15. He's 14. You know, American top team, tough down there. You know.
Yeah, I mean, he's a dangerous guy, but you better hope he doesn't grab your ass, man, because that was strength, man. I don't know what the fuck's going on with him, man. He grabs like I don't know who hurt him as a kid. God damn.
He's fighting demons out here.
Oh, brother. I was like, yeah, I'm not. That's really like you going to 55. I'm like, hell no, I'm good. I'll sit for 45, bro. I'm good. You
some big boys up there.
Yeah,
I mean, talking about going up too, like I gotta know, like making weight 4 times in 11 months. A lot of guys just physically can't do that. I know Grant probably can't do that with his weight cut. Do you cut less? Do you feel like it's just like the way your body is, you're able to do it? Like what is that like making weight so often?
Nah, my fat ass is getting way too big now. So I don't know about making this weight that like the last one was hard too. This fight was hard too. So it's kind of like, bro, like was it 2 years ago? I was like 155 and I would make 145. So like, I don't even gain that much. Like now I'm like 166, 67 on fight day. You know what I mean? Wow, so yeah, so I definitely got a lot more muscle, a lot more weight to cut now. So I have to be like real smart. But hey, man, it's part of the game. You tell me make weight, and then you get an opportunity. I'm not saying no. I'll make that weight, and I'll be there.
Love it, man. This is a question from Sean, but it alludes to another question that I would like to ask you. It said, Youssef, was the game plan to beat Kattar at what he's good at, and why didn't you use grappling a bit more? I saw you did an interview talking about you thought Kattar was greasing because he was awful slippery.
No, I didn't thought. I know he's greasing. There's no that. And this is the crazy part I tell people is like, I don't need to complain when you win. I really don't. Like, I just want to fight. I can just stop and just not say anything. But what I don't appreciate is you try to cheat the game. Don't try to cheat the game. If you do steroids and stuff like that, that's none of my business. Like, hopefully the UFC testing gets you, you know what I mean? But you want to cheat the game in there because you got traumatized your last fight, like, instead of just focusing on getting better and stuff like that. It is what it is. It's like, that's how I felt about it. But my game plan was to grapple him. And I said this in every interview, and all those 50 interviews I just done. I was like, if me and him grapple in a match, I will 100% submit him. I will 100%, I promise you right now, I will submit Calvin Kattar. But it is what it is. What happens and what I felt there, past that, we go from there. We won the fight. We had fun and all that stuff. And for us, that little coach over there, that's one of the greatest minds on MMA and the planet, allegations is all coming from that gym. That how many times, if you look up online, how many times the allegations of him, his fighters using grease in the fight. And the last thing, since you guys are about to get the light skin side out of me, is you see that they're like, oh, especially after the third round, Youssef did his run. I'm like, if it's this run, it's so easy. You can just stop it. It's not that hard. It's a cage. I'm locked in with you. Like, how hard is it to teach your fighter how to cut an angle, how to shoot a takedown, how to throw a head kick? It's not that hard. I don't think it's that hard. I mean, you trained before. It's not that hard. Just do it, right? It's like, it should be a Nike just do it here, you know what I mean? But and that's why I kind of like, I want to be on that. I'm like, you're so great at the greatest coaches in the world, and you're the one who teaches, hey, don't hit, not to get hit, and all this and this and that. And I'm like, you can't teach your fighter that, like, in 11 weeks? Like, really? Is this what we're dealing with now?
No. Very valid. Yeah.
Strong words for Kattar's coach. And you already kind of answered the question, but a lot of people were, you said I wasn't running. He couldn't track me down. So
hey, you look at the numbers. Numbers don't lie. I'm like, to bring a guy, like, hey, I understand you want to have a crazy fight. But if you want to have a crazy fight, I'm not the guy. You should not sign the contract. You know that about me. You signed the contract. You expected what you expected. And for you to get landed 700 significant strike on you, I'm not that guy. You're not going to see me. You're not going to land 700. If you land 700 significant strike on me, I'm retiring. I promise you that right now. I'm not ever fighting ever again. I promise you that right now. But if you want to get that fight, get that fight. But I outstroke him in every single point. And then the crazy part is, a guy that's 6.75 significant strikes per minute. This is the guy that's how much striking he brings in to the fight. He landed 28% of his whole striking combined. So I'm like, listen, bro, I'm just out here having fun with it. And you keep hitting that oxygen, keep hitting that air. I'll keep watching. Maybe you should hit a heavy bag. That will help you a lot more. But that's not me. I just want to let you know. And like, the oxygen is great. We need the oxygen. That's how we live. So the more you swing, the better muscle you get. So it's better for you anyway. So
I love it.
That's the best interview we've
had.
I love it.
You're unbelievable. I love it. Absolutely, the man on the mic.
This is the one side that don't have out of me. You know, I'm a very humble guy, man. I really like to have fun.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah,
and stuff like that. But don't ever disrespect the fighter. Don't ever disrespect, especially when you're a coach. I don't care how frustrated you are. Sure, you want to defend. If I did something shady, defend your athlete. You're 100% correct. But you got so frustrated that the people showed me after. They said, "Hey, like Zahabi in the middle of the fight, the last 10 seconds when I ducked and like I started jogging and then turned back and then like started striking, and they're like, how much running are you gonna do?" And I'm like, as soon as I saw that, and I was like, okay, cool. So now I get the chance to like, what? Now I got the win, and I'll be like, well, really, you can't teach your fighter how to cut an angle? Like, are you that bad of a coach? Like, I thought you were one of the greatest coaches you're a Hall of Famer coach. I guess my coach just had a better plan than your coach. I don't know what to tell you.
That's very true. A question I have for you.
Dave has met his match.
I know. I love it. I love it. We'll take this all day. I was going to bring it up earlier, right before you were coming on. The champion in your division, Ilia Topuria, there's been a lot of talks about him moving up. Is that when you hear stuff of that nature, is that like, all right, that's cool with me, move up. It's one less guy on the top. You just keep on moving closer to your prize. You said you're going to be world champion. I believe that in you. Or is it like, is that the fight because of history man, I want to beat that guy? Is there something about wanting to beat
I'm
that
light
guy?
skinned, bro. I want that guy. I want that guy. That's the guy I want. That's the only why I'm back in the UFC, because he became a champion, and that's the guy I'm heading for. And I got to experience that experience with him, so I can't wait to do it again. I feel like my style gives problems to all these guys, and if you look at my fight against Ilia, it gave him a problem. All these guys want to say, "Oh my God, just short notice, this and that." I took that fight on the short notice. I'm the one who said, yeah. I'm the one who did all that stuff and all this stuff. And fans are going to be fans. Let them be fans. You know what I mean? But I'm just excited to climb up. You know, there's the short-term goals, and then there's the long-term goal, right? And all that stuff. And ranking was one, and now slowly climb the rankings, and then obviously get to Ilia. If that means fighting him at 55 just one time, that's it. Kick me out of 55 ever again. I will never go back to ever 55. I just want to let you that now, right now. Okay. Hope you guys know that. Like, you keep Grant and everybody's fat ass out there, I'm good. I'll stay with my featherweight. You know?
Come on, none of that. This is a great question from somebody in the comments. So you said, you know, you've always been humble, like you said, like, but you absolutely love a mic. We love to hear you on the mic. Sean is wondering, you know, he's like, you heard some boos at the end of the fights. He said, could you possibly see yourself becoming a heel? Is that your game?
Listen, the heel make girls look good. So hey, you keep making me look good. So I don't know where you want to come at me, dog. I'll be with my red bottoms out here showing off and making checks. So hey, it is what it is. You want to boo? And by the way, all those boozers, Kata's half family. So it's like, listen, bro, you get my Moroccan ass family in there. Oh shit, we're not
drown them out, right? Drown them out.
We'll start a riot down there, bro. It is what it is. I'm not worried about that. It's like, everybody's going to remember this is how funny this sport is. You go do this. Now you go finish the next guy. And then they're going to be like, well, that guy was off. Well, you just got lucky. Well, this. And then half of the other fans, oh my God, thank you for proving us wrong, or this and that. You know, the real fans, you know, and then the boos and all that. Like, who cares? Boo me all you want. If you became when you become a world champion, which I will be a world champion, you can boo all you want. I'm the one who's sleeping with the belt.
I love it, man.
Okay.
I love it.
I love it.
That line was smooth, huh? That line was smooth, huh? The heel line, huh? That's shit. That was cool, man.
That's good. Did you see, talking about sleeping with the belt, did you see, I think it was yesterday, it was the 1 year anniversary of Ilia winning. He did that birthday. I thought that was pretty good.
Bro, I'm telling you, man, you know when you lose to somebody and then you always be like, man, I hope this guy knocks everybody out after you lose to him.
You want them to look good, right?
Yeah, so I'm like, man, that guy is on a different level, you know, and that's like what motivates me, like, and wakes me up to be like, man, you gotta do a lot of work, and you should celebrate. You should have fun a little bit. You know what I mean? That was a lot of work. Like, a lot of people didn't understand that. That was a lot of work to go get that and defend that the way he did. Oh my God. You know what I mean? So It's pretty dope. I was a fan of it. I liked it. I liked the post. I didn't comment, but I just liked the post. You know?
You also said you wanted to possibly have your first main event this year. A lot of the guys you're calling out, though, most of those guys, you know, maybe are some pay-per-view names right there. Is there a name you could see maybe like headlining a fight night with you? Is that something you see in the future?
Yeah, you would definitely be a headliner. 100% be a headliner. You know what I mean? I feel like, not especially now these days, there's a lot of Apex cards and stuff like that. And I feel like if it's pay-per-view, it is what it is. Let's be in the pay-per-view. Who doesn't want to be in the pay-per-view? You know what I mean? But to be on a headliner, the Apex, and that is my goal, and I will get a headliner in 2025.
So Yair, you would love to fight Yair for 5 rounds,
and if it's not Yair, it is what it is. Like, we'll find out somebody, and then we go show out, and then get a headline in the third fight. So my goal is always try to stay active, and obviously my record speaks it all. Like, I don't think I have that much break between my fights ever. You know what I mean? So for me to go in, I'm like, hey, go show out, and then find another fight at the end of the year.
This is a good point. I think Yair was supposedly going to fight on Mexico City.
Go
to Mexico City?
If the money's right on that one, I will, because there's Ramadan going on. I have Ramadan going on. So if the money's right, we can talk about it. But I gotta stick with my fate first. I have to believe in my faith and then go from there. Money always comes. You know, I'm not worried about that.
I like this one. I like this one. Aljamain Sterling.
We're buddies too. We're buddies too. Every time we see each other in Vegas, so that would be a hell of a fight, huh? Now they get to be like, oh my god, now I get a wrestler versus a striker, and then we'll find out. You know what I mean?
I love that, man.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
Anything else? There's one more question. Christopher J had a great question I wanted to pull up as well.
Okay,
we're gonna let you go because obviously we'd love to have you talk, but carry on. Who in any weight class is your dream fight?
Ooh. Prime Anderson Silva.
Oh, that would be sick.
That would be sick. That's a fun
like
one.
if you could just make yourself a heavyweight or an 85er immediately, like who would it be?
Ooh. You know what? I'm gonna go with that because I grew up watching Jose Aldo, and that's what kind of like I loved MMA. Prime Jose Aldo.
Yes.
I mean, he's still fucking good right now, bro. I don't know what you're talking about right now, but yeah, I'll go prime Jose Aldo for me.
How is that man one of the greatest ever? How is he getting older in age? How is he down a weight class? How does that make sense?
He doesn't age. I swear he doesn't age.
That's amazing.
He's Benjamin Buttoning over here.
Listen, brother, you better start reproducing those genes, brother. I don't know what you're doing, brother. You better get to work, bro. I got those genes like that. Yeah. We'd have some fun.
I love it, man. Youssef, absolute great to talk to. We've been talking about it all day on the show. We've been live for close to 2 hours. You were the highlight of UFC Vegas 102. Won the co-main event versus Calvin Kattar. Win streak intact. Ranking intact. Smile intact. Youssef Zalal. Give it to me,
Zalal. Zalal, Dave. Zalal.
I tried, man. I tried.
Sorry,
that was such a great ending, too. That was such a good ending. I was on it. Man, Youssef, appreciate your time, brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, bud.
Yes, sir. That was awesome. Youssef. What a stud.
What a guy. What a guy. Dude, we got those were
on the mic.
Got those all into reels. We got clips for days. Love it. The dude can talk.
His heel answer was amazing.
I know. I loved it. I think he's one of, this is what the women's bantamweight division is missing. Personalities like that,
wow.
you know?
Wow. Look at you.
They need a good heel or a good talker, you know? Absolutely.
All right. You know, El, I got to go. So I'm going to give you one last thing. All right. One last thing. We can talk for a couple minutes and then I might have to run. We can close the whole show down if you don't want to.
We'll close the show down a few minutes early.
All right. Last thing. Last 3 minutes. We're giving it to you guys. My question for you, and maybe this is a bad one on last 3 minutes. We mentioned it with Youssef. You know, I think the rumors were out there. UFC 314 Miami was going to be Ilia Topuria versus Alexander Volkanovski. Volkanovski says he's in camp. There's no poster. Diego Lopez was on the Mexico City card. He was taken off. What's going on?
I don't think that was ever real. I heard that was never actually a real fight.
Maybe not. My question to you is, what is Ilia Topuria doing? Like, what is he doing? Is he moving up to lightweight? Does he not want to rematch Volk? Does he not? To me, he should fight Mosarv and Diego as a featherweight, clean out the division, then go up to 155. For him to go up to 155 now seems premature. It does to me. I don't know why.
I 100% agree. I think the reason it made sense for Volkanovski to go up to fight Islam was because he beat everybody. And then he beat the guy that was beating everybody 3 times, you know, like it just, I do think it's premature, and I don't think it solidifies his legacy in the same way as it would if he did beat, you know, a guy like Movsar, a guy like Diego, and then address, you know, becoming double champ. I'm kind of over it right now. All this talk of like, oh, I'll vacate the title for so-and-so. Merab says he'll vacate the title for Topuria's brother. Bilal says he'll vacate for Islam. And it's like, guys, just stay in your divisions and fight people.
Yeah. Like, there's only a couple times that it makes sense that to have a champ type of fight. Like every 3 years, it makes sense. And to me, one of them, the one that does make sense is Pantoja moving up to fight Merab. To me, there just seems like,
because he's cleaned out the division.
Yeah, cleaned out the division. Yeah. And also Merab, and I know it sounds bad, they need Jan needs one more win or Sugar needs one more win, like, and then be like, all right, he's the number one contender. Like, there's just right now not a clear cut. I think in 6 months there will be for both. Same thing with Sandhagen. If Sandhagen gets a win, then there's a clear cut. That one, and they're both close in weight class, and the flyweights, I feel like those guys can always move up. Demetrius, Cejudo, all that stuff. Everything else, like Ilia's, the job is not done. You're a featherweight, and then for the lightweights, we still got lightweights to deal with. Like, I don't know.
He can say whatever he wants about his weight cut. The dude's 5'7". There's no way it's that like his weight cut's that hard. Like, there's no way. He's like, his coach is acting like he's walking around at 200 pounds. Like, I just don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't know what their plan is. But I will say the dude does a phenomenal job of staying relevant between fights, which not a lot of fighters do well. Yeah, like they win and then they like kind of go down and then they win again and then they kind of disappear. He is always on the radar. So that's why I wonder if it's all just like the world's greatest publicity stunt.
And Jake, this is where I totally disagree. Wade Lee has been a strawweight for 5 years in the biggest matchups, won some of them, lost some, won some, fought everyone in the division. She's the best strawweight alive today. That's why, like, her moving up makes sense. Her and Valentina is like a dream fight. Let me throw this out there. If Ilia moves up and fights Islam in June and goes up to 155 and loses, what's next? What does Ilia Topuria do next? Does he stay in the lightweight division and be another contender and just another guy who can't beat Islam in the top, like Armand or Charles or Chandler? Is he just another one? Or then he comes back to featherweight after losing? Like, it just, what's next? Like,
Volk didn't lose anything by like maybe some brain cells, but like he didn't lose anything stock wise by losing to Islam the first time.
And that was like a fun thing. That was and Volk was on a 6-year run. Yeah. Like, it's totally different. I totally different. Wow, what a show. Shout out Chris Mixan. Shout out Gillian the Savage Robertson. Shout out Youssef Zalal.
Zalal, you got it. The one time you got it was when he wasn't even on the show.
He made me nervous. I'm not going to lie. He made me nervous.
He's the nicest dude.
I know, dude. Great communicator. He's good. Yeah,
he's awesome. He was fantastic. We got to cut all those up into reels. Loved it. Yeah, we will. We'll get it. We got the team. Guys, we're going to have timestamps now on the Fight Bananas YouTube channel. You're welcome in the future. A lot of good stuff going on, guys. A lot of good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Guys, I am going to Orlando, Florida with my son to go watch some professional wrestling. I'm out. I'll see everyone next week. I'll see everyone later on this week. Elle, any last words? Guys, watch the Sunday Morning Brew. If you don't already, which you probably do, because why wouldn't you? But thank you all.
Good point. Hey, be good, do good, God bless, and go Fight Bananas.